680 business editor Richard Southern joins us now. And Richard, I hear you were very concerned about me being blown off the roof.
I was worried. Earlier you had your hair, it was all over. I felt bad for you, and I was worried you'd get blown away. So I hope you're okay out there.
I'm okay. I used to report in the prairies, so this is nothing new.
This is nothing.
Wind, right? Okay, well, let's start with some business news. New Canadian economic news pretty much eliminates the chance of another interest rate hike this year, and it's also causing the loonie to take a nosedive.
Yeah, the loonie got blowing lower today. But yeah, first off, this economic news we got in not so hot. We got the retail sales numbers for Canada for the month of August, and it showed retail sales actually declined 0.3%. So the back-to-school shopping season, not quite up to snuff this year. Inflation was up 1.6% in September, but it remains rather tame. So you put all this together, most economists think the bank now may be on hold for the rest of the year. And indeed, it had the Canadian dollar moving sharply lower. You saw it off the top, down about 83/100ths to just above 79 cents U.S. So it takes $1.26 Canadian to buy $1 US. Also affecting the loonie today was a big surge in the US dollar. I had a chance to talk to Eric LaSalle, senior economist at RBC, about the Canuck buck. Take a listen.
We're budgeting for a weaker Canadian dollar from here, and the logic partially relates to the current state of the economies, which is a U.S. economy that's moving fairly nimbly and one in Canada that's slowing a little bit.
What, about 75 cents perhaps by year's end? Is that possible?
We are looking for something in the range of around 75 cents. We think there is some extra work left to go. It's not that the currency is expensive by any absolute standard. It really is more just that there are some competitive headwinds out there and some central bank type differentials that might be opening up as well.
So RBC thinks the loonie's going lower from here, but Amanda, we heard from Scotiabank, they think it's going up. So it depends who you want to believe, but bottom line, the Canadian dollar 2-month low today.
All right, and Bitcoin has just surged to an all-time high as the cryptocurrency craze continues.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if this is going to be a thing? I mean, it's so tough to call. It's certainly a risky investment still, but Bitcoin today, Amanda, hit the $6,000 US mark for the first time ever. It takes about 7,600 Canadian dollars to buy one Bitcoin. The reason for today's spike is unknown, but Bitcoin has been able to shrug off news of a crackdown in China and some regulatory uncertainty. It was at $2,900 just back in September, but it's gone pretty much straight up from there. Bitcoin has surged 500% this year. If only we had a time machine, Amanda, we could go back in time and buy ourselves some Bitcoin, and we wouldn't be getting blown around in the wind right now, I can tell you that. Well, maybe on a beach somewhere.
So much regret. Well, moving on to perhaps a more tougher business decision. The Las Vegas hotel where mass murderer Stephen Paddock stayed has made a decision about what to do with his hotel room.
Yeah, I wanted to update this because we were talking about it a couple of days ago in the business report. What will Mandalay Bay do with that room in question where Stephen Paddock stayed? Mandalay Bay has now announced they will never rent that particular room on the 32nd floor out again. They're going to lock it up, and that's going to be that. This was a $500 a night corner suite at the Mandalay Bay, which is owned by MGM Resorts. MGM was ordered not to destroy or change any evidence because there's going to be some civil suits forthcoming. You know, it wasn't a sure bet that they do this, Amanda. There was actually a fire at the Bally's Hotel in Vegas years and years ago, and 80 people died there. But they renovated those rooms, and they're currently being rented out. But I suppose the Mandalay Bay looked at this situation and said, no, we're just going to lock that room up for good.
Probably the wise decision there. Well, Shoppers Drug Mart has changed the voice on its automated checkout machine, and it turns out people thought the voice was too snarky.
Like a snarky teen on this checkout machine. I want to play it to you. This is what the voice sounded like.
To our self-checkout. Don't forget to scan your loyalty card, scan your items now.
Kind of like a bad attitude teen that just didn't care, Amanda. Whatever. Anyways, the internet talks so much about this. Shoppers Drug Mart changing it to a more robotic voice. Of course, it underscores the issues that retailers are facing as they install these automatic checkout machines. Not everyone's happy with them. I think a lot of people would still prefer an actual cashier.
Personally, I love them because I used to be a cashier back in the day, and I can get through those suckers really quickly. But
you know what you're doing with them, but I sometimes
absolutely
don't. In there, it yells at you, put it in the bag. You don't know what you're doing half the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's some other news. One of the biggest soccer domes around has just opened up in Whitby.
Yeah, this is cool, and this is one of the biggest air-inflated domes in Ontario, 100,000 square meters for this, opening up in Whitby, and it's cost $4 million to build, and the town of Whitby splitting the cost with the Iroquois Soccer Club. And this is a huge dome that can actually play several different soccer games in there at once. And, youth soccer getting more and more popular these days. Of course, the Toronto FC doing so well that it's inspiring more young people to get into the game. And there's a big place you can now play it there in Whitby, Amanda.
Right, and Richard, probably my favorite business story of the day.
Me
I
too.
retweeted this yesterday because I found it hilarious. KFC, their social media game is strong.
Yeah, so the social media, the KFC Twitter account, it has 1.2 million followers, but it follows only 11 people. It follows 6 men named Herb and 5 of the former Spice Girls. So that's a total of 11 herbs and spices. Do you get it? It's, of course, the fast food chain's famous recipe consists of 11 herbs and spices. Amanda, it's unknown how long KFC has been waiting for someone to notice this, but it's a smart piece of social network usage. Everyone talking now about KFC because of their herbs and spices followers.
Personally, I think that you and I are the only Twitter-like followers that you need, but I guess if the Spice Girls and some herbs can, that's great
Mix
too.
Mix that in too, indeed.
Thank you. Well, have a great weekend, Richard.
Have a good weekend, thanks.